In the heart of the Chernobyl exclusion zone, an area long believed to be lifeless, scientists quietly installed a few cameras. What they captured by chance was nothing short of astonishing. Let's dive in. But we must return to the very night when time seemed to freeze. On the night of April 26, 1986, an accident occurred at Reactor 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. A powerful blast damaged the structure, released heat and radiation into the atmosphere. An invisible cloud soon covered the nearby town of Pripyat. Residents woke in confusion. Some saw a strange glow and assumed it was a fire. By morning, evacuation had begun. Thousands were told to leave their homes for a short time, but many never returned. Homes were left untouched, toys on beds, plates on tables, school books still open. Now, wind moves through broken windows, carrying only silence. Close to the plant, the nearby pine forest changed color overnight. Trees wilted, needles dropped, and birds disappeared. This place became known as the Red Forest, one of the most affected areas on Earth. It didn't burn, but it faded. Chernobyl became more than just a historical event. It became a frozen moment, where life paused and nature stood still. If you lived in Pripyat that night, what would you tell your family as you were forced to leave everything behind? Comment and chat with me. The explosion changed everything, but the real story was only just beginning. What did it take to prevent an even greater disaster? After the explosion at Reactor 4, a new threat appeared. Beneath the reactor was a pool of water, part of the plant's safety system. Above it, molten nuclear material was slowly melting through concrete. If it had reached the water, it could have triggered a powerful steam blast, strong enough to destroy the complex and spread radiation across much of Europe. 3 men, Alexei Ananenko, Valery Bespalov, and Boris Baranov, volunteered to stop it. Wearing protective suits and using flashlights, they entered chest-high radioactive water in complete darkness. They located the release valves and drained the water, and their actions likely prevented a far greater catastrophe. For years, many believed they did not survive the mission. But Ananenko and Bespalov lived for decades. Baranov passed away in 2005, reportedly not due to radiation. In the months that followed, more than 600,000 people, known as the Chernobyl liquidators, were deployed. They included firefighters, soldiers, miners, medics, engineers, and civilians. Their task was to stabilize the site, clear hazardous debris, and build a shield around the damaged reactor. They faced extreme conditions, often with limited protection. Many used basic tools like shovels. Some had to rely on their hands. While many experienced health effects, their work was vital. According to the United Nations Scientific Committee, their efforts significantly reduced long-term radiation exposure across Europe. Just when it seemed the human chapter had closed, something unexpected began to stir in the silence. What did hidden cameras deep within the exclusion zone reveal? Something no one could have predicted. In November of last year, while much of the world had forgotten the forests of Chernobyl, scientists had not. A research team entered the most restricted part of the exclusion zone, not to repair, but to observe. They placed 42 motion-activated cameras across zones with different radiation levels. The goal was to monitor wildlife and understand how life had adapted in a place left untouched by humans for nearly 4 decades. Early footage showed only wind and shifting shadows. Then came signs of life: deer in the snow, foxes near old buildings, wild boars in the leaves. Animals once thought lost were not just surviving, they were thriving. Every week brought more footage, capturing predators, rare birds, and even species not seen in over a century. What began as a simple research effort became something more, evidence that nature was quietly making a comeback. Reports from National Geographic and the British Ecological Society support these findings. The camera data is now vital to understanding how ecosystems respond when human presence is removed. No one expected such a revival. But deep in the quiet forests of Chernobyl, the cameras are still rolling. And the story is only just beginning. At first, only shadows appeared on the screens. But soon, something extraordinary crept into frame. Was life truly returning to the dead zone? Before exploring, I have a special 10-second request for all of you listening. If you can help me in any way, just hit the notification bell and hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel so much. And if you do that, I will do everything I can to make this show even better for you. Deal? It began with a shadow, then a snout nudging through leaves, a wild boar digging near a broken fence. Soon, cameras captured more, foxes weaving between buildings, deer under street lamps, and wolves roaming freely. One image showed paw prints, small and large, evidence of cubs born in the ruins of a nuclear disaster. According to data from scientific reports and the Chernobyl Biosphere Reserve, cameras recorded over 10 mammal species and at least 5 bird types, including some not seen in decades. The gray wolf population wasn't just stable, it was thriving. Researchers from the University of Georgia and the Tree Project were surprised. They expected decline or illness, but instead found strong wildlife activity, even in high radiation zones. Chernobyl is becoming a refuge for wildlife, said Dr. James Beasley. With humans gone, nature was returning. Eyes glowed in the dark, antlers caught the morning dew, insects buzzed, and life quietly began again behind the warning signs and wire. But the most surprising appearances were still to come. Creatures long thought lost were about to return to the spotlight. What happens when extinction is reversed in a place once abandoned by life itself? Under the moonlit forest, a camera captured a rare sight. A European lynx, once thought extinct in the region, walking confidently through the Chernobyl woods. Its silent steps and alert ears revealed a predator reclaiming its place. Weeks later, another camera spotted a brown bear, massive and slow, foraging through the abandoned forest, its first confirmed return to the area in over a century. According to researchers, Chernobyl's stillness, once marked by absence, now echoed with life. Black storks, sensitive to human presence, have also been seen nesting there, thriving in the quiet. Ironically, the very event that cleared the land has created a haven for wildlife. These animals didn't just survive Chernobyl, they came back. Seeing these animals was one thing. But then, researchers noticed something even more astonishing. Had the laws of evolution changed inside the zone? The wolves of Chernobyl are unlike others. They roam through areas exposed to radiation, rest near abandoned structures, and hunt in zones marked by caution signs. Since 2014, Princeton researchers have studied these wolves, surprised to find their population much larger than in nearby unaffected areas. Blood tests revealed DNA changes linked to stronger immune responses and potential resistance to certain diseases. Lead researcher Dr. Kara Love described it as evolution in fast forward. The wolves weren't just surviving, they were adapting. Chernobyl has become a unique place to study evolution in action. Birds, rodents, and insects also showed genetic changes, some neutral, some possibly beneficial. While radiation still affects many species and some areas remain hazardous, nature appears to be adapting in unexpected ways. Animals were adapting, yes, but what about the land itself? Could a radioactive forest be reborn? During the Soviet era, pine trees were planted in neat rows around Chernobyl for timber and land management. After the 1986 nuclear incident, radiation affected many trees near the reactor, turning them orange and giving the red forest its name. The surrounding forest remained largely undisturbed. Over time, nature reclaimed the space. Birch, oak, aspen, and maple began to grow among the pines. Ferns, moss, and fungi spread across the forest floor. With no human interference, the land reshaped itself. Today, much of the area is a wild, self-sustaining forest. A 2021 study found it is more biodiverse than before, supporting a wider range of animals and acting as a carbon sink. Even areas with elevated radiation levels now show strong vegetation growth. Satellite images reveal significant forest expansion over the past 30 years. Walking there feels like entering an ancient, untouched world, full of tangled trees, filtered light, and wildlife. What started as a tragedy has become a powerful example of nature's resilience. As trees returned, so did rivers. But beneath their still waters, an invisible process was quietly connecting everything. What role did the rivers play in this web of life? In Chernobyl, even the rivers play a role in nature's renewal. Once feared for carrying radiation, they now support a hidden web of life. Beneath a calm surface, the remains of fish help fuel this ecosystem. When fish reach the end of their life cycle, they become nourishment for animals both in the water and on land. A 2020 study by the Royal Society of Biology found that otters, American mink, and foxes often feed on these fish. As they move, feed, and nest, they carry nutrients into the soil, linking rivers and forests. This process, known as aquatic to terrestrial nutrient transfer, helps entire ecosystems flourish without human involvement. Otters glide through quiet canals, mink explore stream edges, and foxes visit at night. Each animal helps connect land and water. Researchers from the University of South Carolina and the Ukrainian Institute of Hydrobiology confirm that this nutrient flow supports growing plant and wildlife populations in the area. Even insects and birds benefit. A single fish can nourish dozens of organisms, first in the river, then in the forest. In a place once known for isolation, life now thrives through connection. The rivers feed the land. The land shelters the animals. The animals link it all. In Chernobyl, everything is part of a larger, living system. If this story surprised you as much as it surprised the scientists, give this video a like. It helps more people discover these hidden truths. But before we celebrate nature's comeback, there's a silent force that still lurks beneath the surface. What dangers remain beneath the beauty? As wildlife returns and forests grow, radiation remains, a quiet, invisible presence. With advanced tools like drones, LiDAR, and gamma spectrometers, scientists can now map radiation in the exclusion zone more accurately than ever. They discovered active hotspots, especially in the Red Forest, considered one of the most affected areas on Earth. Some zones can deliver a year's typical human exposure in just a few hours. A 2021 study in Nature Communications linked these concentrations to buried nuclear material, fuel rods, and graphite released during the Reactor 4 incident. Over time, weather and natural decay have shifted particles, forming new areas of concern. In some places, soil shows faint signals in thermal scans, not from heat but from radiation signatures. As Dr. Victoria Radchuk notes, the challenge hasn't disappeared, it has evolved and moved. Certain elements like cesium-137 and strontium-90 have half-lives of about 30 years. Others, such as plutonium-239, can persist for up to 24,000 years. This means parts of the zone will require long-term monitoring. Even as nature rebounds, these lasting traces remain. Chernobyl represents a powerful contrast between regrowth and resilience, and the quiet legacy of its past. Though it appears peaceful, the landscape still holds echoes of history. Even with these risks, the world began looking back at Chernobyl once again. But what triggered this sudden surge of interest? For years, Chernobyl faded from public attention, visited mostly by scientists and historians. But in 2019, the HBO series Chernobyl brought it back into focus. Starring Jared Harris as Valery Legasov, the show offered an emotional retelling of the events and their aftermath. The series won 10 Emmy Awards and renewed global interest in Chernobyl. Tourism rose by nearly 40% that year, with people from around the world visiting the exclusion zone. They walked through Pripyat, saw the Ferris wheel in the abandoned amusement park, and viewed the steel structure now covering Reactor 4, seeking to better understand the site's legacy. What many found unexpected was the contrast. Amid the remains, wildlife returned, forests grew, and quietness took over. People came to witness history, but also discovered signs of renewal. Journalists, filmmakers, and content creators followed, turning research into compelling stories. The renewed spotlight helped bring awareness to Chernobyl's ongoing environmental and human impact. In the end, storytelling helped reintroduce Chernobyl to the world, showing a place where history, recovery, and resilience exist side by side. Behind all the headlines and haunting images, something deeper was unfolding. What does Chernobyl truly teach us about life and survival? Radiation hasn't disappeared. It still lingers in the soil, trees, and buildings of Chernobyl. But humans left, almost overnight. Factories closed, cars vanished, and the land was left undisturbed for the first time in generations. At first, scientists believed life could not return. The radiation seemed too strong. But without roads, hunting, or noise, nature slowly began to recover. Birds nested on rooftops. Wolves came back, plants pushed through the pavement. Rivers cleared. Forests thickened. The food chain rebuilt itself, step by step, without human interference. This shift has led scientists and ecologists to rethink long-held ideas. As reported by Scientific American and the UN Environment Program, Chernobyl has become a real-world example of how nature responds when people step away. Radiation still poses risks. Some species are affected, others may not return. But with less human impact, no industry, no pollution, nature has found space to renew. Chernobyl is now more than a historical site. It stands as a symbol of ecological resilience, quietly reminding us, with time and space, nature can restore itself. If you could place a hidden camera anywhere on Earth, just like the ones used in Chernobyl, where would you put it and what would you hope to see? If you found today's video interesting, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your support is very important to us. Be sure to check out the next video appearing on your screen. You're sure to love the content we bring. Please leave a comment about which country you'd like us to explore next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.